Good morning. 75 degrees outside. Can you believe it? I'm kidding. It's only 60. We were just talking about how we wish it were 75 degrees out there. 60 degrees out there this morning. Feels cool. For those of you who like that, run outside quick. JC?
I'll tell you what, there ain't nothing better than going out in your yard at 2:30 in the morning.
Sorry.
Taking a leak and just hanging out there and walking around looking at the stars, barefooted.
Talking to the paper man.
Talking to the Huntsville Times carriers. They run a little late. You know, he didn't get here this morning until about 3:15. But he did tell me that the Huntsville Times will cease daily delivery, he was told, October 1st, which is good news. But anyway, joining me today, Dr. Seth Williams, and Tom, I'm matched up head to toe.
Good morning.
Brown, and good Seth, morning. Finally wearing a shirt.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday, Seth. You're almost 30
now. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, almost 30.
Yeah, well, and Mom just had a birthday, too. Happy birthday, Mom.
Gwen, happy birthday to you, too, turning a mere 72 years old.
No. You're awful.
Actually,
And
Gwen's still a few years younger than I am. Speaking of birthdays, which I didn't mean to bring up, but since y'all brought it up, a week from tomorrow, we'll be celebrating my birthday as we kick off football outside tailgating. Jawjacker Jeff Matthews and the Lewis and Sons Kitchen will be cooking outside. Y'all come on by. Donnie will have his LSU crap set up outside too. So we'll have all kind of Bama stuff, maybe some Auburn stuff too, if that's interesting to some of y'all. But we'll roll Tide and War Eagle next week. Thursday we open up here at LSU too. Everybody be ready. My goal is to stay up past 7 o'clock. Thursday night, Friday, so Tom, you can text me if you want to, you and Mac. I'll be wide awake. Well, maybe not wide awake, but I'll be somewhat going on. Good morning, I'm Jamie Cooper. This is Athens in the AM on a Wednesday morning edition of Cooper and Company Live. We've got some special guests in the studio. Johnny Lee Dees will be joining us later on this morning also. Seth will try to get us healthy because Alabama is the 4th fattest nation in the country. Thank goodness for West Virginia, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Y'all chubbos. Anyway, let's get it cranking right now. Here's Gloria with the weather.
You were pitiful after that breakfast I fed you this morning. You might be watching that a little bit more. We had pancakes with strawberries and whipped cream, so you might be saying, oh, good. That's wonderful. 60 degrees out there right now. Going to be an absolutely beautiful day. Only a 10% chance of showers, with high temperatures of 87. Tomorrow, though, we do have another chance of rain, 10%. Looks like we're not going to see any rain until later in the week. Temperatures staying around 89 for several days, and then actually 90s will return next week. So they say, I hope they're right, but there it is. Should be an absolutely beautiful next 5-6 days. No rain possibly until Tuesday.
Seth, how are you?
Wonderful. I'm wondering what happened to global warming.
Yeah.
It back.
And Tom, you'll fill us in a minute on the political forum you attended last night.
Yeah.
Were you surprised there weren't more people there?
I expected more folks.
125, what the paper said this morning?
There wasn't many.
How did my buddy Joseph do?
He did good. Real good.
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Yeah, he'll be with us Friday, Joseph Cannon.
As well as Harper?
Hey, let me go over something this morning right quick before we get into our other stuff. The funeral for William Doc Oliver, which Seth, I believe you know personally.
Yes, I do.
Of Ardmore will be at 2 p.m. Friday at the Ardmore Chapel Funeral Home. Visitation, now listen to this, folks. The visitation is from 2 to 9 today at the funeral home and from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Thursday. That's how well known Doc Oliver was.
No doubt.
Now, I didn't know him the way you did, Seth, but Doc was a living legend at at the time. Just a super
nice guy. Too.
Yeah, he was.
He really was.
You remember him, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
That night?
Mm-hmm. I do. You want to tell the story?
You
can tell it. You're the only one among us that's been arrested by him.
Whenever I was 15 years old, there was, we were enjoying ourselves.
Drinking.
Yeah, we were enjoying ourselves a little much out on the Ardmore, what is that, the Strip?
I haven't been there.
Well, the girl I was with had some alcohol in her car.
It was her.
I couldn't drive.
Of
course, it was in her car, right? Well, they came and found the alcohol, and they asked whose it was, and I didn't want the little girl to get in trouble. So I told them it was mine.
Being the man of your word that you are.
Yes. And,
a man of character.
I did not know that they would take you to jail for this. So I ended up there, and he he was actually really cordial, and because my mother knew
How was your mama?
and Dad was on the show and had talked to him many times, so they let me go.
Yeah.
So.
That's why a good person Doc was.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk more about that later, too, and tomorrow. Let me mention something. I talked to Dusty Maximo yesterday afternoon, my buddy down at Lindsay Lane. Y'all heard about this, I guess. School locked down after rival man wanted for molestation, according to the paper this morning. We got this report, too, from Police Chief Floyd Johnson yesterday. Athens police responded to Lindsay Lane Baptist Church yesterday morning. A man wanted for molestation of a child thought to be suicidal had entered the church seeking assistance. After contacting the man's family, according to Chief Johnson, it was determined he had warrants and the school was placed on lockdown. Dusty said really there was basically nothing to it. They just did all that for the safety of the children down at Lindsay Lane Baptist Church. So,
precautions.
Yeah. Hey, while I'm talking about good news here, churches and stuff, let me ask you, this is in Hustle Times this morning, Tom. 50 years ago this weekend, Redstone Arsenal cleared its airport runway to host the Reverend Billy Graham for a one-day crusade. An estimated 35,000 people 50 years ago this weekend came, in addition to the 2,000 people who sang in the combined choir for the meeting. And they want to know if you were there, if anybody out there was there. Frank, were you there? You remember that? 50 years ago this weekend, Billy Graham, who is still alive, by the way, at 206 years old.
Oh, not quite.
You know, he's getting on up there. On up there. All right. Sorry to disappoint you folks. I know y'all wanted. I applied for the job to replace Regis on Regis and Kelly and Regis.
You did?
Well, they've named the replacement. Michael Strahan got the job.
Really?
Yes. There he is right there. He's still going to do the Fox News thing on weekends. He's 40 years old, 1 year younger than her. I did not know this, but it says Regent Philbin, who was like 95 when he retired, quit over a contract dispute.
It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. That reminds me, 20 years ago that happened to me at Channel 31.
How about that?
How'd that work out?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, actually, it's worked out in the long
really
run.
Good.
In the long run, pretty doggone good. Seth, I noticed you're not wearing sneakers this morning. You're wearing Crocs as I am.
Crocs.
Well, Nike's got a new pair of shoes out that cost $300.
That's a lot.
That's what a lot of kids need. $300. The National Urban League is asking Nike to ditch its plan to release the LeBron 10, the latest edition for the sneaker signature. The shoe is expected to price at just under $300.
They are ugly.
Just under $300.
Do they wash?
Tom, that's what Matt needs.
Really.
I've got a pair on order.
A $300 pair of shoes.
Yeah, I bet Rhonda approved that.
Yep. It says they're open. Retailers will open at 8 a.m. and for safety rules, they're forcing retailers that not open at midnight where there'll be a run on them. First of all, most kids that buy these shoes can't even afford them.
Well, they can't run for having to hold their pants up.
I'm going to do something on that in a second. I'm going to do something on that in a second. If y'all haven't heard yet, if you're an Alabama fan, yesterday Nick Saban called Carson Tinker into his office and offered him a scholarship because he'd been a walk-on down there for 4 or 5 years, and now he has been, I'm sure Zach will talk about this tomorrow, but he gave him a scholarship down that way. So if you're an Alabama fan, that's good for Carson. He's our long snapper and snap on everything else. And let me update y'all on Lacey, 2 Alabama football players who are sidelined with minor injuries, could be out, Zach, for as much as a week. Eddie Lacey and wide receiver Armani Cooper, no relation to me, will play in about a week, and McCarron will still be holding. Tom, in case y'all were wondering, he's our starting quarterback. He will still be holding for extra points and field goals. And there's been 2 number changes, Tom. Linebacker Tanner Patrick has switched from number 2 to number 11. I know you don't care, but I do. Jeremy Shelley has gone from 90 to number 5. So, just want to make sure everybody gets it. And
a demotion from 90 to 5?
They just switched numbers.
Oh.
And if you're going to T-Town, Krispy Kreme is open again down that way.
Oh, lucky.
Been closed since the tornadoes of a year ago, so they're down that way. And just wanted to fill y'all in on that. Which reminds me, Seth, let me get your opinion on this. Right? Let me find it right here. There's a Dear Abby in the paper today.
Careful. I don't
You
even
don't
know
know
what
what's
it is.
about.
I know, but you and Dear Abby scare me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not going to do a Dear Jamie yet. I'm going to do a Dear Abby.
Huh?
And this is something we all can relate to here. My friend was at a local event, a child's graduation not long ago. There was a woman whose rear end was exposed sitting in the row ahead. Several people took pictures and posted them on Facebook. My concern is for the woman's family. Oh, really? My friend couldn't think of an easy way to tell her. My question is, how do you tactfully tell someone about his or her buttocks being exposed without offending the person?
Now, how many times have you actually seen that at Walmart? You're like, look, look, look.
Here's a photo we took recently. See, that's kind of what it's like right there.
We did not take that photo, and that's about enough of that, Brad.
Actually, that was Ed Scavini the other day when I saw him at Dixie Auto Party. He was sitting in the back over there. And
good looking Ed.
At least it was a short one.
But anyway, it ain't just plumbers no more.
Usually the behinds that you see don't look quite like that.
Let me see it again. The light was in my eyes.
No.
Light was in my eyes.
Well, that's just low-cut jeans.
Yeah, it's just low-cut jeans.
No underwear.
All right, Brad.
Okay, let's see. What does Dear Abby say? The person who designed low pants for women, and frankly, should be taken to the stocks for public punishment. They flatter no one, particularly when the wearer bends or sits. It's not the flesh dropping over the waistband. It's the Great Rift Valley visible from the rear. Huh?
I think plumbers started that.
Had your friend informed the woman in the row ahead about her pants and slipped so that people were photographing them, she would probably have been less offended than embarrassed.
True.
The message should have been conveyed quietly by another woman if one felt enough compassion to do it. That's just like Tom the other day up here on the show with his pants unzipped. Did we try to call Tom aside and say, Tom, your pants are unzipped?
No, didn't.
Frank points it out to him when he's on the air. Tom, your pants are unzipped.
No, we weren't.
Frank, thanks.
I mean, no need in trying to embarrass someone.
Never happened on this program.
No, never will.
All right, I can't stand it. I got to do it, Dear Jamie. And this is one that really, musician wants creative couch time. How's this going, Frank? I'm fixing to chew somebody out here. My boyfriend in our early 20s, been together for 3 years. I work full-time in a restaurant, received little or no help from my parents, and live in a one-bedroom apartment that I can barely afford. He lives with his parents, Seth, rent-free and seldom works. You know the story. Before you write him off as a complete deadbeat, he's an extremely talented musician. How many times have I heard that? And the primary reason he lives at home is so he can spend pretty much all his time on his creative pursuits.
Well.
In truth, he practically lives with me and bums off me, only returning to his parents' place to eat and work on music while I'm working at the restaurant. I have been tolerant of this situation because I love him.
Yeah.
And I think we make a great partnership. Oh, I forgot to mention, we're also in a band together.
Love is blind.
As we get older, however, I'm worried, and I'm becoming a substitute for his parents. Is he living off me? Yes, yes, and yes. Can I afford to support myself and another person?
No,
yes, yes,
no,
and
no.
yes.
No.
At what point will he admit he needs a day job?
He won't.
Did I also mention he writes the music for our band?
Well, let's get into this thing about talented. If he's talented, he would make money doing this. He's not talented.
It's what it says. It says right here, not to put too fine a point on it, but even artists need to work. How many of us know musicians? Oh, I've got the next top 10, top 20. Most musicians I know ain't got a pot to pee in. Is that the way you say it, Frank?
That's right.
Yeah, and the ones I did know in the
here.
band used to bum off everybody so bad it wasn't even funny. How much did I wind up paying him? A couple $100,000?
You should have done
something like that. I ain't big on musicians. Tone deaf to start with, so it don't really matter. What about you, Seth?
No, well, I mean, in any...
You play a guitar?
No, I don't play anything at all. But if you're going to make it in this world, you have to find a way to serve the community so that they pay you. It is what it is. You cannot call yourself talented and not be paid for your virtues for what you do. So he's not talented, he's a bum.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. And yes, he's using...
How many musicians do you see up here at 6 o'clock in the morning?
They're asleep.
I haven't seen one.
Let me give a shout out to Barry Kay this morning, who's a good guy.
You have been through a few of them, though.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I financed several of them. All right, we'll take a break, come back and do the news in just a moment. Y'all hang on.